All right, everybody. Looks like we had a snafu and some technical difficulties, but it looks like hopefully I straightened it out. But we're going to jump right back into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off since I've already monologued in the first 13 minutes of the video. Once I started it, I'm just going to go right here and we can just dive right into it. So as y'all know, one of the guys that I listened to that directly affected social media after COVID-19, his name is Kevin Samuels. And I just wanted to let everybody know that this right here is a response video, but it's also being played to add context to the discussion that me and my sister is going to have once she comes back up. So I just wanted to get a chance to be able to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. I'm going to put it up there, and I am going to play a snippet of some of his stuff, so that way we'll have a good idea of what's going on and why I think it's important for us to hold a conversation about relationships post COVID-19.
I work with companies who have a corporate brand, and that's what sits at the top of anything for a company. Black men, if you want to move up into upper management, you are going to have to cut your dreads. You're going to have to become clean cut and represent the brand. See, a lot of black brothers think this is selling out. No, it's called buying in. This stream is for black.
As you can see, he did have to go in, on men. This is the early Kevin Samuels. For those people that don't know who he is and never got exposed to his content, peace to the brother. He passed away a year ago, and we all send our condolences to his family. So one of the other things is that a lot of people don't understand that he had started his channel, and he was a relationship coach for a while, for a long time. So he put the work in. And as people know, one of the things that his rise to fame is he became very, very popular on his YouTube streets. And so we're going to hold a conversation about that. And let's see what else I have over here, because there's something else I want y'all to be able to see. That way you all will get a really decent idea exactly what kind of influencer that he was, because he was a really good influencer. All right, let's see what we have here. So I removed that, and I wanted just to make sure that we got everything going. I got one more video by him that I want people to see, so we can hold this in context and be able to hold a conversation that's going to be fruitful for the people to be able to be involved in. All right, so give me a second and let me get another one up. And let me see. Let's see, what do we have? All right. All right, people. This is Kevin Samuels, later Kevin Samuels, when he stopped holding men's feet to the fire, and then he started including women into the conversation, especially when it comes to Black relationships and Black marriage. So he was a staunch component of marriage, especially Black marriage. So for those that get offended by this kind of content, I apologize, but you're going to have to bear with me, because I need to get this context out so people can have an opportunity to hold a conversation. That way we can talk about it. All right, so give me a second. And all right, so let's see what we got here. Okay. So what we have here is this.
That's all I.
Here we go.
5'7".
Dress size.
Sorry?
Dress size.
Dress size, I would say about a 10.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
170.
So you weigh more than a man at your height.
Some men. Oh, at my height?
At your height. 5'7"? Yeah, the average height of an American man is 5'10", the average weight is 168. You weigh more than a man.
So I just wanted to play some of this so people get an understanding that when he was holding men's feet to the fire, didn't nobody care. So I postulate that this selective outrage came when he started holding women's feet to the fire. But you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do. So that way everybody can have their opinion in. So what I'm going to tell you is that on the comments, I'm going to, after we hold a conversation and get some family members up so we can get this dialogue going, I am going to post a link at the top of the chat so people can come in. And as long as you keep everything cool, no profanity. Well, all right, it's late night. A little bit of profanity ain't gonna hurt nobody. But as long as you keep everything cool, don't insult nobody, challenge the argument and not the person. We should be able to enjoy ourselves and have a little bit of fun with this video. All right. So let's see if I can get my panel back together. All right. I left this up. You've watched Kevin Samuels, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. So I've already did my monologue in like a DC comic book villain. So the question is, how Kevin Samuels' rise was affected by was his rise affected by selective outrage? What are your thoughts?
By selective outrage, I mean, that's possible. He did piss people off. Majority of them are women. Me mentally, it was almost cult-like hell because you couldn't come across one man who didn't quote something from Kevin Samuels. Sometimes he had a point. Most times he didn't. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. So you don't think it was selective outrage? You think it was actually targeted, huh?
Well, yeah, it was targeted at women. His banter was targeted at deflating their egos. But then again, have to keep in mind what type of women he was dealing with. He was dealing with those that wanted to marry, rich men, But okay. He was saying that if you got kids, ain't nobody messing with you, So why your standards so high?
Okay. Well, you know what? How about this? I got one of his earlier ones. Did you see that one?
I don't know.
Okay, I got one of his earlier ones. I want you to listen to this one, okay?
Oh God, you finna piss me off.
This stream is for Black men. Everybody's welcome, in particular, millennials and zennials, okay? Last night, Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson did a show with Steve the Dean Williams and said Black men need to cut their hair if they want to work for white people, if they wanted to move up the corporate ladder. And we're going to get into it. When I was an entry-level manager, I hired 16 people. When I was a national account manager, I had 12 direct reports. I've been a pre-IPO stockholder in companies. See, what I'm talking about is a lot of stuff that I never hear guys on YouTube talk about. Entry-level dudes. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm an image consultant and a corporate image consultant, meaning right now I work with companies who have a corporate brand, and that's what sits at the top of anything for a company. Black men, if you want to move up into upper management, you are going to have to cut your dreads. You're going to have to become clean cut and represent the brand. See, a lot of Black brothers think this is selling out. No.
What'd you think about that one?
We were raised under the assumption that it's not what's on our head, it's what's in it. And if a corporation does not want to hire a man due to his hair, but he is overqualified or just as qualified as someone Caucasian, I wouldn't cut my hair for a job. I just take my talent somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Because if you're talking about dreads, it took them years to do that. And that has significance to those that wear them. So I don't know. Depends on how bad you want the job, right?
I believe so. Especially if that's what they see. When I look at it is like this. The company has a right to have standards. I myself particularly wholeheartedly believe that. Company has a right to have standards. So if the company has a right to have standards, excuse me, everybody, letting everybody know that the invite is at the top of the chat. If you want to come in and hold this conversation with me and my lovely sister, you're more than welcome to come on in. All you have to do is click on it, follow the link, and it'll tell you how to get right in here, and we'll bring you up. Just make sure that you challenge the argument, not the person. And Marie ain't finna take that shit from nobody. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. You're gonna get on here and get your ass embarrassed. So, here we go. Anyway, I'm still waiting on Maria at least to see if she's gonna come up or not. But anyway, so since everybody has a right to their standards, and a company decides not to hire people, then since the people that predominantly wear dreads are black and brown people, wouldn't that start looking like that the company is probably moving a little bit on the racist side? I mean, you're damned if you do it, you're damned if you don't. I mean, because they have a right to their standards.
Right. But keep in mind, too, that black hair has been a topic over the last few years to a point where the federal government had to pass a law saying you can't discriminate against somebody because of their hair.
You have a point.
So at this point, it doesn't matter if you feel like you didn't get the job because you qualified and they hired somebody else because they didn't have an afro or they had a perm, or that other person didn't have dreads, then yeah, you can be sued.
We have civilized the world to the point, especially in Western culture, to the point where you can literally sit down and hold an entire argument about hair.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's called the Crown Law.
I know it's what it's called. Yeah, I've heard it. I don't care. I'm gonna have to say it like this, but thank God I'm blue collar dollars. I don't own a company, so my opinion probably don't carry as much weight as a hot air balloon. So I'll put it like this: if I have a standard, you're gonna have to follow the freaking standard.
Yeah, but you keep in mind too, that Crown Act is coming. Has been set into place due to all of those videos you've been seeing with these white folks cutting these black folks' hair. This kid was on the court. He was playing basketball, and they told him he had to cut his hair if he wanted to play. So the coach literally stood there and cut that boy's hair.
Well, yeah,
outraged.
Maria, you also have to understand that it was during a national championship for that particular school, and the boy said that he wanted to play, so there was nothing that could be done because they was going to eject him, and he was one of the better players on the team.
Yeah, I think it was wrestling.
So he went to his coach and asked him to cut his hair. He didn't.
Yeah, because they were telling him he had to cut it or he couldn't participate. So
no, because the people that were fouling the shit out of him was complaining that his hair kept on slapping him in the face. See, you have to understand that there's always some type of agenda behind this. Let me calm down. I'm starting to get pissed.
Well, it was also a little kindergartner here in Michigan, and the dad sued because the white lady cut her curly hair. I still don't understand what was behind that, but
I don't understand why she's still walking around.
Oh yeah, the dad was pissed.
No, she would have been crippled. See, if you mess with one of my children, you better like hospital food.
Yeah. Yep. So it's been a lot of that going on as far as hair concerned. But Kevin Samuels, it is what it is. He found a niche that he he could scratch, and he scratched the shit out of it until, until the day he passed. Rest in peace.
All right, so on to the next topic. What do you think, Maria? Why were so many women offended? I mean, they were
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
Hell, you telling me if I got kids, I'm not marriage material, or nobody is gonna want me because I have kids, and then you upset because these women had kids by these men that didn't marry them. But is that a problem with the woman or a problem with the man?
I don't know. I think that, like I said, I'm gonna go back to my argument. I believe that everybody has a right to have their own standards. I myself particularly don't care if excuse me, sorry about that. If a young lady has kids, but I believe that if a man does not want to date a woman with kids, he should have every right to not want to date a woman with kids.
Absolutely right.
I think that women were offended because a man had the nerve to say it, but men been thinking that forever. I'm just saying, but they just
it could be, but a man helped make that baby. So why? I mean, why isn't it a double standard? Why wouldn't he be talking about, okay, man, you got 10 kids. Man, you got 10 kids. Ain't nobody gonna want to marry you.
He was.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear it when I was clicking on that.
That's because people. That's why I started off with selective outrage, because they talk about all the stuff that he talked about when he talked about women, but they never mentioned the stuff when he was actually speaking about men. See, he's got 3 years worth of videos on his channel where all he was doing was talking to and about men. Mm-hmm. And he was just as vicious. He was just as vicious. But
I didn't see any of those. The ones when I periodically clicked on there, or he popped up on my little timeline or whatever, I might watch a little bit of it. But when I felt my anxiety level going to 10, I had to let him go. So that's how that worked. Yeah. But again, I don't think it was all him. I do believe some of those women had some distorted thoughts. Yeah. They thought they were cuter than they probably were. They thought they had more stuff to bring to the table or nothing to bring to the table. They just wanted somebody to take care of them. Some of them were delusional. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to agree with you on that one. Because I mean, I watched. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Some of these chicks, oh my Lord! And the funny thing is that you at first when I started paying attention to his content, I thought this has got to be made up. I said, there's no way in the world a woman is going to come on here and put herself in a position and double down on the inane childishness of what she was talking about. I was like, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I have to tell you one thing. It was funny.
Yeah. Well, at the end of all that, like you said, it's the decision of the person who you want to date, what you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
But I did find it interesting, though, that he would also say, if you was to get a man like that, you 20 pounds overweight, you 5'2" and weigh, whatever, you're going to have to get in shape. Ain't no man going to want to. And I'm just like, oh, my God. Okay, what about these men? Ain't nobody talking about their ass getting out there working out.
Nope.
20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight and shit.
But you don't hear men complaining about it. You don't hear men.
Ain't no woman complaining about it either. But why he on there belittling women and
I don't think
downgrading
he
them,
was
telling them if
belittling
you don't
women.
lose that weight, you ain't gonna get a man. But it was always that specific man, that man that made the 6 figures or whatever. So I think when I'm dating, I'm gonna just stick with whatever. I'm gonna stick with.
Well, I'm gonna play a snippet. I'm gonna play a snippet of one of his antagonists that he used to go back and forth with, and they kept it clean most of the time. But then they were snappy when they were on their own channels. I don't know if you ever heard of her. Her name is Kendra G.
No.
Okay. Well, she has her own podcast, and she's a image consultant also, and relationship coach. Right. So she's well known out here in these streets. So I'm gonna play a little bit of her stuff.
You put for her stuff over there in the chat?
Oh yeah, it's down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You gotta bear with me. I just okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear her? Can you hear her?
No, not really.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have seen her. Some of her videos crazy too. Oh wait. You probably have to unmute that one. It looks like it's muted on my end. That's why I can't hear it.
What?
It's muted on my end, so you probably have to unmute it so we can hear it.
Ain't nobody that you want to marry trying to marry you.
No, I mean, yeah,
No, because I haven't got to my point. Because I haven't got to my point. Okay, you asked me why is it over for me? That's what you asked.
But I want us to say one thing, okay?
Let me get to my point, dude. Let me
okay.
I didn't even. This is why it's over for a lot of sisters too. Look, you can be right all you want to. Men control access to marriage. And one of the major reasons that older women are getting passed over for younger women is you're too masculine, you're too bossy, you're too opinionated. That works well in the corporate world when you're making other people successful and rich and fine, but it does not work well when you're trying to connect with a man.
I'm not going to play the whole thing and then it's okay for us to play it and respond to it, but I don't want to take another content creator's of all of his talking points. But I just want to make sure that we hold a conversation and get enough of this information, and so we can, I mean, at least try to be as correct as possible. I don't necessarily believe everything that he says, but I do understand that there are a lot of brothers that move like that now, especially the ones that are doing really well for themselves.
Move like what? Don't want older women or aggressive women?
They don't want older women. They don't like mannish women. They just not moving like that no more. I mean, the thing is you're seeing it all over YouTube now. I mean, look, you have now these are shout outs so people can understand that I actually watch this content. I've been on some of these people's panels. But you have Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews. This 38-year-old brother's probably in his mid-30s and he's a millionaire. You got Antone Daniels, Pink Book Lessons, Queen Sheba. I can sit here all day. Anyway, but you have a lot of people out here in these YouTube streets discussing relationships. And it would go over people's heads. You know what I'm saying? Because before COVID-19, well, nobody trying to hear that. You know what I mean? But right, it seemed like right when COVID-19 hit, you have all these relationship coaches and OnlyFans accounts just popping up all over the place.
Right. So I can explain that part.
Okay.
You got relationship coaches is because when the pandemic hit, people were locked in their houses with their spouses and their girlfriends. They wasn't going nowhere because everything was shut down. Half of them lost their jobs due to COVID because they shit shut down, right? Which means that person that you thought you knew, you got to know in that house 24/7.
Well, yes,
and
ma'am.
So they was fighting over stuff. They was bitching about shit. And so what they needed was some type of therapy or relationship coach or something to look up in order to minimize the effects on that damn relationship, because they were breaking up and domestic violence skyrocketed.
Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it. I can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway. And I have to go ahead and say that right there was the most eloquent way that you could have said it. I'm going to have to give it up to you, Maria. All right? I'm going to have to give it up to you. I got no choice here. I got no choice. I got to give it up.
That's just a gimme. That's just a gimme. The pandemic caused a lot of stuff. You got an increase in hate crimes. You got increase in people being agitated and annoyed by their neighbors and where they park, how they park. There's no shortage of videos of Karens and neighborhood wars and fights and all that other stuff. All when the pandemic hit, because nobody had nothing to do but be nosy. Look out they window and why you parking in front of my house? Well, hell, ain't no other place to park. Get from in front of my house. My husband parked there. Or what, just petty stuff.
Oh, yeah. You talking about what happened to me.
Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Not even necessarily you. Them shows out there is killing it. Neighborhood Wars is out there. The Karen videos, people doing whole YouTube specials on Karens.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And Kens.
Yeah.
And all this started after the pandemic. Ain't nobody got nothing to do. They bored. They suffering from cabin fever. They sick of their damn significant other and always up under them 24/7. Hell, why you looking at me like that? Looking at you like what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why you breathing so loud?
Yeah. Why your heart beating?
Right. Can you just stop breathing? Damn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you over here alive? You being alive is livid.
Right. People trying to entertain themselves, so they on their cell phone all the time and social media, jumping into people's DMs. You know what I'm saying? And they got a spouse or a partner right there. Hell, that's disrespectful. That's gonna start a fight. That's gonna start a fight from boredom.
Oh yeah. Hold on. All right. So that's the next one up. Why do you, Maria, since we can't get nobody else to come up here? It looks like it's just me and you again. But we'll just keep on building this ship while we sailing it. Why do you think there were so many men that felt vindicated by his talking points?
Well, obviously, it's just like Trump supporters. He's saying something that somebody can relate to. Something like you said earlier. They related to it and they've been wanting to say it, for the longest. So yeah, they felt vindicated because somebody was saying out loud the shit that they've been thinking,
Yeah, you got a point.
Or saying out loud things that they have gone through when they dealing with these women. And the specific type of women to me that he was dealing with were pretty much gold diggers. Why are you out there looking for a man that got money? What happens if he becomes broke? What do you have to lean on? Are you going to go out there and support him like he's been supporting you? Those are the questions I would want to know. Okay, what is so important about that man having money? I can understand you being comfortable, but how come you can't go out there and be comfortable on your own? How come you can't be comfortable with an auto mechanic who make $30 an hour? You know what I'm saying? Who love you
Yeah.
instead of somebody, just like, okay, well, you can be my eye candy, for this week.
Okay.
Until I go find something else.
Okay. Well, let me get in there.
You know, Kevin Samuels is my
let me get in there. Come on. Let me get in. It's our show, not LiLSiS show. Let me get in. I believe that you're absolutely correct. I believe that he was saying stuff that that men, especially men my age and in my tax bracket, were thinking all the time. And it did. He came about at a time with me that I was already going through a divorce and dealing with shenanigans of my own. And I found that amazingly painful. So it was kind of like a comic relief to me to watch these hyenas get on there and start trying to describe what kind of man they want, but wasn't bringing to the table the shit that they wanted at the table in the get-go. It was amazing. I literally thought that they were joking. I thought he was calling people and having them call in. I found out that he was live, and he was live for 3 or 4 hours. There's no way in the world you can set up that many people to come on there, and he made them cam up too. So it wasn't the same chick.
Right.
I was amazed at the sheer unaccountability that was displayed during his live streams, that I was like, no wonder I'm getting a divorce. They all out there. They all out there.
For me, I found him manipulative. When certain women would say certain things, he would flip it and turn it into a negative. He had the gift of gab. That's all I'm gonna say. He did have the gift of gab. He could talk. He could talk a good game.
But the funny thing is the only thing he had to do was just stick to his talking points. See, a lot of people think he was manipulative because he stuck to his talking points. He didn't let people just go off on a tangent. Let them keep on running their mouth, especially when people have a tendency when they think they're losing an argument, instead of holding a conversation, they have a tendency to continue to move the goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They double down and double down and double down. Like, I mean, like literally, I one day told an employer of mine, I was like, I specifically told him, I was like, you don't have to lie. He was like, did you just call me a liar? I said, no, I did not. I said, you don't have to lie. Now, if you're going to equate that as me calling you a liar, then that's on you, because I'm responsible for what I say, not what you hear. See, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. If you really looked at what Kevin Samuels was talking about, he had the same talking points. That's the reason why it was genius. He had the same 6 talking points. Same 6. He never changed.
What's your height? What's your weight?
Yep. Same 6 talking points every time. He never changed them. So he
never asked the man that shit. That's my problem. If a man called, that is not the first thing out his mouth. What's your height and what's your weight?
He did. He did.
What's your dress size? First of all, none of that shit.
Hold on. You don't get to just say something you ain't did. You didn't watch none of his stuff.
I did watch some. I didn't watch a lot.
Okay, no. When he was talking to the dudes, because yes, he did. Mm-hmm. He used to say, "What are you doing to further yourself? What are you doing to make sure that you getting your come ups? How you chasing your bag? What kind of clothes are you wearing? What kind of cologne are you wearing?" Well, if you ain't doing none of these things and you're not trying to participate in it, well, you know what? You're gonna be left behind. Ain't no woman gonna want you. When was the last time you went to the gym? How tall are you? Because if you know that most women, the average woman's height is this, the average man's height is that. So you know what, depending on how you look, what your economic status is, how you moving out here in these streets. He used to say this to these men. and I'm keeping it clean because, man, you promised that we weren't going to use profanity. But go back and look at some of his old stuff. He literally told the dude, and I quote, he said, well, if you're short, fat, and ugly, and you have a little dick, you're going to die alone.
I would find that offensive as well.
I know, and a lot of people did, but didn't nobody get outraged by it.
Mm-hmm. You sure? Because I'm feeling some type of way right now.
Nope, not when he said it.
It's not, but see, what
that was thinking, years ago, too.
So. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. That, to me, was very disrespectful. But in his defense, which I hate to do it, in his defense, that man did call in. Those women call in. You don't go out calling them and saying, hey, come on the show so I can disrespect you. You knew what you was getting when you went on there.
Especially, look, they knew when he went from 50,000 subs to 170,000 subs overnight. They knew what they was getting into. They knew it. It's like watching the Three Stooges. You knew every time they got around each other, somebody was going to get knocked the hell out. Punched, kicked.
Or poked in the eyes, yeah.
Poked in the eyes, yeah. You knew there was always one bully.
Right.
Yeah. He was Mo. And everybody else was Larry and Curly.
I don't know. He was good. He damn sure had a following.
Oh yeah, he definitely
had a following, and that's crazy because whether he was right or wrong, they were there.
Okay, how about this? And this is, I think, we're getting close to some of our final thoughts. All right, what do you think? Did his rise to YouTube fame and his sudden passing teach anything? Did anybody learn anything except for how to use?
I'm sure y'all did.
Finished. Did anybody learn anything outside of how to leverage relationship advice into a bag on YouTube? Did anybody learn anything besides that? Is what I'm trying to say.
As far as relationships are concerned, I don't know, because like I said, I didn't see his earlier stuff. I would assume that the men did learn something as far as, how to present themselves, because he was a what did he say? What was his job title? Because it ain't therapist. What was it?
He was a relationship coach.
Consultant. No, he was a consultant.
Yeah. A relationship.
For a brand.
Image consultant. Excuse me.
Image consultant. Right. So I think, he had a lot to offer in that area as far as how to present yourself to somebody, you potentially want to have a relationship, how to look and act and move in a way to attract the type of person you want to attract. Yes. As far as relationship wise, I don't think he did shit.
Well, according to his analytics, there are 10 people that met through him that are married, high-powered couples, and they actually came on and gave a testimony. I could literally go through the trouble to try and find it, but
10 people.
Yeah, but it's 10 o'clock, and I really don't feel like going through it. I'm saying the response video thing, I think, turned out pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good. You just got to make sure the info that you just presented is over there in the link, in case people want to.
Yeah, I did have it in the other link.
That. Oh,
but I'm going to edit all of that after we're done. So for those that are actually watching, don't worry. I have every intention of putting the links in the bottom of into the description, and emails in the description for Antone Daniels and the LaPeef Network. Some of the guys that I mentioned, Kendra G stuff. You don't have to worry. I'm going to give those guys their laurels because said they've been out here doing it for a while. LaPeef been around 8 years. Anton's been around 10 years. Kendra G, she was a talk show host first. I mean, they've been doing the damn thing. But so I will make sure that they get their laurels. But I have a change on the joke thing. You ready?
Go ahead.
So instead of doing a joke, I did some research and I said, you know what? Maybe we can use our channel to showcase some of this comedic talent they got going out here that's not getting the same looks as the Cat Williams and the Dave Chappelle's and the Kevin Hart's of the world. So I decided that we're going to do a response video to a comedian. And guess what you and him have in common?
What?
Y'all are both educated therapists. So you're going to love this one because you know what? Let's just wait for you to see, okay? All right, here we go.
So I have a theory about dog names. This is a theory. I'm not saying this theory is 100%. Just letting you know it's a theory I have about dog names. We're going to check the theory right here in your city. We're going to just check the theory. I don't know for sure. So here's my theory. It seems like my white friends, when I talk about my white friends, I'm including the white people in this room. It seems like my white friends, most of the time, give their dogs human names. Black people, not so much. I could be wrong. I don't know. Let's find out. If you're a white person, you have a dog, raise your hand. If you're a white person with a dog, cool. I'd like to talk to this lady right here with a striped. She got a striped shirt on, blue jeans. Yeah. Can you give her the microphone? Cool. Yeah, she got a mic for you so everybody can hear you. What is your name?
Angela.
Angela, cool. First of all, Angela, what kind of dog do you have?
She is a Shibu Inu.
Shibu Indian. Okay, we on the right track already. We on the right track. Yeah, that is not a black dog. That's not a black dog. And what is your dog's name?
Haley.
Thanks for playing along. All right. Need another white person with a dog. I'm looking for another white person with a dog. Yes, you gotta go give her the mic. You can give her the microphone. Cool. And what is your name?
Laurie.
Laurie. And what kind of dog do you have?
Well, I have a border terrier.
Okay, cool. Did you get him on the border?
Yeah.
And
Not quiet.
your laugh is amazing, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. That little at the end, that's pretty awesome. Okay, and what is your dog's name?
Caleb.
Thanks for playing along. Need another white person with a dog. I'm looking for another white person with a dog. There's a little girl with her hand up. Let me explain something to you. First of all, you don't have a dog. Yeah, your parents have a dog. You have a furry roommate. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How much does dog food cost? Oh, you don't know, do you? Yeah. You know why? Because you don't got a dog. Cool. Looking for another white person with a dog. I'm gonna go to this guy right here. Awesome. And what is your name, sir?
Jim.
Jim.
Yes.
People always talk about going to you. Do they show up?
Mostly the out of shape ones, but anyway.
I'm gonna do the jokes, man. Let me see if I got this right. You came to the comedy show with your own jokes. You don't go to Starbucks with some coffee grounds in your pocket, do you? I just need sugar. That's all I need. All right, Jim, what kind of dog do you have?
A Weimaraner.
I'm sorry, what happened? You said, why am I running? Who are you, the police right now?
I bought one and one was given, and one's name is Caesar and one's name is Liam. And yes, we do spend a lot of money. Just DM him on Facebook.